Hey everyone! So in this video I'm going to be going over 2-point perspective now, and we are just going to be doing the same thing as the 1-point perspective, is just with 2 vanishing points. So let's get started. The easy way to do, I feel like perspective in a way is very simple and easy to understand, but it's just kind of hard to really wrap your mind around sometimes when you think of perspective, because when you think of perspective, the word itself, it's like, whoa, that's kind of scary sounding, but it really isn't. It just means that boxes or just objects in space, that's really what it means. And you can also not have to use all this whole grid thing as well. You can just understand that what 1-point perspective looks like, what a top view looks like, and the like. And I'll show you guys how to draw freeform boxes as well after the 2-point perspective. So the reason why I'm not doing 3-point as much is because you don't really use it as often. I don't really find, of course obviously people do use it, but it's a bit complicated for beginners at the moment. So I think I'll probably go over that more in depth in probably like a backgrounds course or something like that, and I'll probably have Colton help me. If you don't know who Colton is, I know that some of you guys have his courses. So he is he was a concept artist for a while, and now he's just more teaching art, and he's my husband. So and he taught me as well and mentored me for a while, and he also does mentorships, and he is basically a pro at perspective and the like. So I think I will be doing a collaboration with him probably for the next courses in the future. But anyways, onto 2-point. Let's go ahead and do that and get that started. So once again, we're going to draw our horizon line. And that is our eye level. So we can go ahead and draw a little eye just to kind of just show what this is. This is your eye level. This is where you're standing. This is where you're looking at. Now, when it comes to 2-point, you want to make sure that your vanishing points, if you're going to go for a more realistic view, I would prefer your vanishing points be like super far away so that it doesn't look like it's converging too much. Very acute angles and convergence is generally a bad thing because it's very, very skewed and it's very extreme. You want to go for more of a probably like a more wider lens or wider angle rather than a very narrow skewed angle. But anyways, let's get started on it. So here I have points A and B. Usually, I would have you, I would say the best thing to do to practice this 2-point perspective is to get a normal 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and then simply just putting a huge horizon line, and then putting the vanishing points on the ends of the paper. So that would generally be a good distance away. So I only have this ruler here, and I don't have enough room or space to really show you guys how far my paper can go. So this will have to do for now. Just know that if you put your vanishing points too close, or it gets even closer, it starts looking very, very skewed and look kind of like a diamond, which you don't want. But anyways, let's get started on drawing some boxes. I think I'll probably do about 3, 1 down below, side to side, and 1 probably up above here. Either way is the same process. So in this one, we want to start off with our center line, center of the box. And then the same thing that we do in our 1-point perspective, we simply just draw in our lines and just connect all the points. So one side goes to A and the other side goes to B. Now it might take some time getting used to, but don't worry, you know that it's pretty simple. Now what I want you guys to do is draw some straight lines. 1, make it as thin or as wide as possible. I think I'll probably go for more of a normal box for now. Whoops, that was a wobbly line because I moved my ruler. Make sure you press your ruler pretty firmly. And then once again, we are going to connect the two together. That looks off. Make sure it's not too off, or else your lines won't line up very well. I'm going to just erase this part here. Also, by the way, if you guys don't know, I am using I think it's a 0.7 Graphic Gear 500. Normal pencils work as well. This is just what I have on hand, and it works pretty well. But you don't have to use all the materials that I use, because the materials don't make you good, it's the skill that makes you good. You can only practice with the material that you're with, and if you only have pencil and paper, then that's totally fine with me. You can do the course with pencil and paper, and I will go through shading as well, if you want to go for more of a pencil route. So here we have our other two corners, so we're just going to connect those lines as well, because we want to see if our construction is good. So sometimes if the lines don't really connect very well, that just means that your lines aren't super accurate, as in like it's not going all the way to the vanishing point. It's probably like a little bit slanted, but that's okay. So the true test is to see if these line up, and I think they probably will, roughly. Yeah, it's okay. It probably needs a little bit of adjusting, but it's okay. So that is a 2-point perspective box. What I want you guys to do afterwards is just darken the outside layers, just to show that this is the main box. Or we're not focusing on the details of the box, we're focusing on the box itself. So line work is important. So that is your 2-point perspective box. Let's do one more towards the side, this way maybe. Let's do a thinner box, see what that looks like. Maybe we'll do one on top of the other. So once again, we connect all these points. When you draw lightly, I'm only drawing a bit darker just because it's easier for me, or for you guys to see. But I would suggest that you guys draw pretty lightly and then darken at the end, because you guys, when you draw multiple boxes on one scene, it gets really confusing sometimes where you're looking at, and you don't want to lose your lines, or else it'd be very, very confusing. So in this one, I am actually going to go ahead and make this box overlap on top, just to kind of show you guys what that looks like. So let's say I make my box kind of this box in front of this one here. I'm going to make a straight line. I'm going to make sure that this line is very, very light here, just so I can see where it is, but it's not obstructing the original box here. So now that I have that here, let me go and do another one. This is more of a thinner box here. Now let's go ahead and connect the dots. It's really that's really it. Connect the dots. And connect this little line here, because we drew a line very, very faintly here, so we can use that as our guideline. Very, very lightly. So we see our point, that it gets up to here, and then we want to make sure that these points line up. I think that'll be good enough for now. And the reason why I want you guys to darken these lines is because when there's a box in front, you generally see the darker one first. So you want to outline areas that are in front a lot darker. You want to outline this one just a little bit lighter than this one, than the first box, just so that, you know, we know it's there, but it's not overpowering the first one. You definitely want to outline this one darker. Darker. Whoa, that was a bad line. There. Now let's do one on top, so we know what that looks like. And as you can see, as earlier with the 1-point perspective and everything, when you look down, when you're on the 2-point perspective below the horizon line, you look mainly on the top angles, or on the top side of the box. You don't see the bottom side. You only see the top fully, and the sides and everything like that. So, and that's because you're just looking down at it. And now when you're looking up at it, you will see the bottom of the box rather than the top. So let me go ahead and draw a center line once again. Let me go ahead and move this there. Now let's go ahead and connect the dots. can place them wherever you want. You can fill them with as many boxes as you want. Don't try to do tilted boxes, as I mentioned earlier. I think I mentioned that in my 1-point perspective one, but if not, I'll just mention it again. Don't do rotated boxes because that's really complicated. I know that some people try to do them, which I mean it's a good, it's good sport. But I would say just be careful with that, because when it comes to rotating, let's say if you have a box like this and you want to rotate it like that, a lot of the rotation comes through like understanding ellipses and degrees of rotation, so that if your rotation of the boxes look weird, that's the reason why. It's because you don't know how to do that. And I'm not going to go into that because it's not really my my forte, and it's not really my expertise in teaching that, and we don't really use that in figure drawing either way, so you don't have to worry about that too much. So here I'm going to just make another box. I'm going to draw some straight lines, and I'm going to go ahead and once again just rotate them. So if you remember me drawing pelvis boxes, I think that'll be later on. I'm making this video a little bit later. They're not in order all the time. But when I guess I'll just say it. When I drew my pelvis boxes, I kind of just understood, or once you, I kind of just understood what boxes look like in space, and I didn't have to use a grid. So the more you do this, the more you kind of just like, okay, yeah, I get what this looks like. I understand that this box is facing up because I see the bottom side, and I understand that, that there's convergence. So when you guys see the pelvis box video, you guys can probably follow along a lot easier once I do that. So once again, I'm just going to darken the outer edges. That's it. That is our box. So now let's go ahead and go down below, and I'm going to be showing you guys how to draw some freeform boxes. So let me go ahead and do that. Freeform boxes. Freeform boxes. So let's go ahead and start drawing some. So when it comes to a freeform box, let's do a standard 2-point perspective freeform box. So when I mentioned before with straight and fanning lines, we want to go fanning, fanning, straight, straight, and then these two also fan depending on where it is. So let's say that this box is going this way here in space. Fanning, fanning. Fanning, fanning. Convergence is really, really important. So once you have this kind of convergence in place and understanding where you're looking at and the like, then it becomes a lot easier to draw a box. Now let's do one from above. So here we have, let's see here. Let's do this is more of a 3-point perspective look. You don't have to do this. 3-point perspective is basically just like, let's say I'm going to draw a box from below. 3-point perspective box is basically just fanning, 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 fanning. Everything's basically just fanning. So everything is kind of like you're looking down at it. This is basically the other way. So rather than this being straight, sorry, I'm kind of just getting ahead of myself, so I'm kind of like stuttering here and there. Notice how this is all straight. 3-point perspective is basically all the straights kind of just angling inward or outward. So for instance, if I want to do one that's above, I can go ahead and just 1, 2, 3. And then I can see the bottom side as well. In fact, I would do that instead. So something like that is more of like a 3-point perspective going upwards. If I want to do just a simple tilted box, I have to understand, like for instance the pelvis, like imagine if the pelvis is kind of like facing outward to you from the back. 1, 2, just understand knowing how to draw the box. Fanning, fanning, sort of straights. This is more fanning and converging to the other side, and then we see the underside of the box. This is more of a looking up at you kind of box because we only see the bottom. We don't see the top. We see the top in this one, but not the bottom. Let's draw some more. Let's see, what other kind of boxes would there be? I also don't really suggest that you guys do these kind of boxes because these are super skewed, and it's generally a better idea to use these kind of boxes depending on where and how the person is like. So if I want to connect two boxes together, I can just simply just draw fanning, fanning, or not really fanning, but I want to draw two boxes that are kind of like tumbling over each other. I could connect the two boxes and kind of just also skew them a little bit, like kind of make them a little bit more oddly shaped, just to kind of understand the shapes of the box or of the body. For instance, if this is a rib cage, I can sort of alter my box just a little bit to fit the body. I can even build on top. Stuff like that. Let's see, what else is there? I think just these kind of boxes would be good for now. You can just practice drawing any kind of box in any different direction. And you can also, start by understanding how 2-point works and 1-point works and the like. So I think that'll be it for this video. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.